Hi, I'm back. DelusionDispeller. All right. Next. Why are narcissistic adults often impulsive and impatient? If they don't get something immediately, well, let's put it to you this way. As children, if they didn't get what they wanted immediately, sometimes they never got it. So they learned, I got to have it right now or I'm not going to get it. That's why a lot of them are very demanding. Even as children, they went, I want it now. I want it now on the table. We even see movies glamorizing this kind of foolish behaviors in children because they're ignored by the so-called parent or they're screamed at when they have a need. And that's not good. They're often given items like gifts and things. And then the so-called parent will take it from them, destroy it, sometimes right in front of them, or give it to somebody else. Sometimes they'll give it to their own enemy, the child's enemy. So the child learns that they have to have something now, they have to hug it to them and not share it with anybody else. And they cannot wait. They've got to have it yesterday, and there is no waiting for it. It's just this drive in them. They see it, they want it, it's theirs, and that's just the way it is, and they'll do anything they can to get it. Now, if you have a narcissist, you often have an addiction component. So, if you have an addiction and you're impatient and impulsive, you not only want it now, but you will do anything to get it, literally. I remember when I was in my addictive phase years ago, my addiction was the computer. And I remember our computer went down because the bill wasn't paid or something by my narcissistic ex-husband. And he said, well, then you just can't go on the computer today. And I remember throwing a fit and saying, I am going on that computer if I got to walk to the library to use the computer. And I did. I walked miles to the library. I would walk to friends' house. I would take a bus. I would hitch a ride. I would do anything to get on the computer because I had that addictive component inside of me. A lot of that was kind of provoked, unfortunately, by an unhealthy marriage situation where I was often led to, not led, often had to go without things, things that I needed. So I learned to really crave the things that I needed, and when they weren't there, I would panic and I would go into a frenzy to try to get those things. So I do understand that addictive mindset. It's really rough. It's very frustrating and fearful too. Okay, now that didn't make me a narcissist necessarily. It just basically meant that I felt starved for certain things and tried to fill voids with material things. Okay, so the next thing. Why do narcissists lie? Why are they deceitful? Well, as children, either they weren't believed when they told something that they felt was true, or they're falsely accused of doing things they didn't do. They also lie to avoid being caught, confronted, or held accountable. Now, if you know anything about narcissistic personality disorder, this is one of the traits, is that they hate confrontation. They will do anything to not look like the guilty one, even if they know they are. They'll project it onto somebody else. They'll lie about it. They'll embellish the truth. They'll justify it. They'll make excuses. A lot of times they know that they're lying, but they keep trying to cover it up with other lies. Sometimes they try to convince the other person that they never did the thing that the other person knows they did. Or they will accuse the other person of having done the thing that they did. This involves projection and gaslighting. The last part. Narcissists hardly ever tell people how they really feel or think. Now, there's a couple different ideas of why this is. Some narcissists really don't know what they feel or think. I really believe that. They've shut off that part of them as kind of a protective thing. Other people that are narcissistic, they know what they feel and think, but they tend to enmesh so much with the other person that they get confused about which feelings are whose. A lot of times this results in arguments back and forth. It's weird. It's a weird thing to not know how you think or feel. All I can say is they bottle their feelings a lot of times, and then it comes out as rage. Sometimes they'll feel the wrong feeling at the wrong time. Like if somebody dies, they may laugh. If there's something happy, they may get angry about it. It's just a distorted type of way that they feel, which is why they're very scary and dangerous people to be around sometimes, because they don't process their feelings very well. I hope that explains it. It's kind of unclear to me how to even explain why they aren't always open about their feelings. Maybe somebody else that reads or that watches this can explain that more to me, or say what I'm trying to say in a clearer way. Sometimes I don't communicate very clearly. But I will tell you this about narcissists. They feel that other people feel the way they do, or they think the other person should feel the way that they do. And they become very angry when that other person isn't feeling the same exact way, believing the same thing, or perceiving things the same way, I guess. So, a lot of times they don't tell you how they feel because they're not really afraid to, but as children, when they expressed their feelings, they were seen as wimpy or weak. And maybe they feel that you would see them the same way, and that's a fate worse than death to a narcissist, is seeming anything less than perfect and having it all together. So, I'm going to check and see if I have any more notes on this particular topic, and I will be right back.